There we go.
Okay, now I'm satisfied.
Easy, cheesy, orange guy at 3 a.m. Happy Meal.
What?
You don't know about? Okay. Well,
The fuck are you talking about?
don't open the orange guy Happy Meal at 3 a.m. Gone wrong challenge.
Fucking what?
Do I just sound like I'm babbling? Was that
Ted,
babbling?
you sound like ChatGPT right now. Okay, so can I open the episode with an actual line?
I'll consider it.
Okay. Hello, you absolute legends. I bet you're all wondering, why did I donate $500,000 to Billy Mitchell's bank account? Well, Dad, let me tell you about Karl fucking Jobst.
Hell yes. Also, it's been, for those at home, it's been so long we actually fucked up the intro because we forgot that it's supposed to do like a hey Tad and then yes Alex, and I didn't think about it till just now either. But it's fine, Alex.
No, I got distracted because you kept talking about fucking orange guy Happy
I
Meals
was
at
talking
Burger
about
King.
the orange guy Happy Meal 3 a.m. Do not open, do not challenge is in the past. You need to move forward, Alex. Where are we now? Where's the present?
All right, well, the president is talking about the month-old drama between a YouTuber and a guy in his 50s.
Oh, I as a 30-year-old white man, I am locked into this.
Okay. So, a little bit of story here. Now, Tad doesn't actually like me talking about drama too much on this channel or fucking politics, despite what our Discord would let you say.
Would make you believe.
But for this situation, I actually decided to break that rule because this was not only really, really huge, I actually have a little bit of history here. By that I mean I was a fan of Karl Jobst for a very long time. So I fell for it again award. And I was a little annoyed by this, so I kind of wanted to jump in, even though we're a little late on this because we're busy fucking wages.
Yeah,
I just wanted to talk about it.
I stay out of online internet drama because I was wrong about Pro Jared. I saw his penis and I was incorrect. And ever since I've been like, you know what, Tad? Wait, you gotta give it a minute. Give it a second. And I will do my absolute best never to fall for it again. I'm going to keep my award shelf empty.
So, do you know anything about this at all, Tad? Do you know who Karl is? Do you know who Billy Mitchell is? Do you know who Apollo Legend is?
So I very vaguely remember this. This would have been like right again. My life is split into two portions: pre Team Fortress 2 and post TF2. Right? This is in that Twilight Zone. Apparently, King of Kong came out on G4 in 2007. And that's where I found out about these guys. And I feel like that's where most people found out about them, unless they were active speedrunners or like retro gamers. If I remember right, it's the King of Kong documentary was about, it was painting this guy, this science teacher, as this super cool guy going up against this evil hot sauce mogul named Billy Mitchell, who is so evil and bad, he got a, I almost said Smiling Friends. What's the cartoon with the bird and the raccoon?
Regular show.
Yeah, he has like a regular show episode where they make fun of him. But that is literally it. I remember that Billy Mitchell was the bad guy in the documentary, and then some crazy shit's been going on that I'm about to find out about.
Yeah, so first off, Karl Jobst was not in that movie. Karl Jobst is a completely different person.
Whoops.
So let me explain. Karl Jobst is a speedrunning YouTuber. Specifically, he specializes in playing GoldenEye for the N64, right? He actually got a world record on the episode Damn in 52 seconds. Where he lost his fucking shit and was cheering, so much so that his wife came in to pet his head like a fucking caged animal because he was crying tears of joy that he got this record.
You know what? So good for
her. He's really into GoldenEye.
Good for her.
Really, he's really into GoldenEye. And he's really, really into gaming in general. Now, Billy Mitchell, as you know, is kind of a villain. He cheated back in 2011 about Donkey Kong. And this is where this all starts. So, Karl Jobst makes speedrunning videos, but he also makes drama videos, which is also why Tad recommends we don't make these kinds of videos, because this is what happens to you. Karl kind of just hyper focused on Billy's episode, right? It's like Billy, cheated. He used fake hardware in this Donkey Kong arcade machine to make getting his high score easy. He's a fraud. He's not legit. Fuck this guy, right? And he would just make video after video after video after video after video about Billy Mitchell. Now, if you go to his YouTube channel, like, just scroll down. It's all just like, Billy's back at it. Billy is desperate. Billy is crazy. Billy is a fucking serial litigant, which, to be fair, he is. And this is what made this video and this whole, like, story so compelling, because as you already know from King of Kong, Billy is kind of a fucking asshole. Like, Billy is just kind of a dickhead. He is what I call, like, a wrestling heel. Right? He just loves to be the bad guy.
So a serial litigant is just someone that's like will constantly bother the courts with shit, right?
Yes, because remember you just mentioned Regular Show? He tried to sue Regular Show for that, right? If you ever question Billy Mitchell's scores or his gamer cred, he will just fucking sue you. Which is why I will now re-emphasize this video with, I love The King of Kong. It is my favorite movie ever. Glory to Billy Mitchell. Anyway, so moving on. Moving on. Karl was covering this, and eventually he gets sued by Billy Mitchell, because, of course, Billy just loves to sue people who talk shit on him, right? So Karl is like, hey, guys, I'm getting sued by this crazy fucking cheater and this liar and this manipulator, and I need your help, because I'm a speedrunner YouTuber, I don't make that much money, right?
Okay,
I want to challenge him in court.
So, so he made a video basically just covering in, like, the modern time, it's not 2007, just like, hey, here's Billy Mitchell. Right? Like, look at this dude. Look at all this crazy shit he did. This was 2020.
Okay. This was a couple of years ago this all started, right? So, he makes these videos. He's shit-talking Billy Mitchell. He's calling him crazy. Billy wants to sue him. That's how this all starts. And now, lawsuits take time when they're in court, right? This isn't a movie. These take, like, months to even years if it's, like, a really, like, tough case, right? So, while this is happening, us fans, are seeing all these videos, because every fucking time Billy would, like, say something to him, that's a whole new, like, 11-minute video to put on the fucking channel for 1 million views, right? You already seen where this is going, right? So, every single time, every video, it is always about Billy this, Billy that, Billy that. Please, I need your help. Here's, like, a fucking Patreon to donate for my defense or whatever, because he does make a lot of money. He's a YouTuber. So, a bunch of people donated, and they donated over $500,000 to this to help him win his case. He's like, we got this. As you can see from the quotes video I sent you, there's absolutely no way we can lose, Legends. I have this in the bag. This is the easiest slam dunk case ever. I did not defame him because he is not defamable because he is a cheater. Blah, 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 blah. Court case happens, and earlier this year, Karl is so confident, he live streams it on his, like, Twitter with a Twitter streaming feature. And he loses. He loses really, really hard. He loses so fucking hard. The judge absolutely rails into him, calling him disrespectful, a buffoon, absolutely just... Fuck, what was the one line he said? He said, Karl was so vindicated and so cocksure about him being a hero that he charged at the mighty Billy Mitchell-shaped dragon, but sadly his lance broke. So he said that he said that Karl defamed him, and in fact, he made him pay extra because he, quote, disrespected the court at every opportune time that he could. So he owes Billy about 800,000 Australian dollars now. And everyone is pissed off about it. Why is everyone pissed? Well, we were led to believe, like, well, first off, that he was going to win. He was really fucking cocky, right? But also, it turns out, this was not about the defamation of his scores in Donkey Kong at all. Turns out, this was about a fact that Karl said that Apollo Legend, which is another YouTuber, which you probably didn't even know about until just now, he said that Apollo Legend's suicide was because of Billy Mitchell. Now you're probably thinking, wait, who the fuck is Apollo Legend? What does this have to do with anything? Well, let's back it up a little bit.
I vaguely remember the name Apollo Legend, but it could have just been like that. That sounds like the most.
He was at a Game Is Done Quick. He speed runs Mario Sunshine. You probably saw him stream back in like 2017 or 2018.
Either that or like the name Apollo Legend is every dude on an internet forum in 2015. It could have been anyone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But Apollo is also a speedrunning YouTuber who specializes in a game. and talks about cheaters and drama. You can see where this is a bad thing. You shouldn't do this, kids. So he started shitting on Billy Mitchell back in like 2018 and 2019. Eventually, Billy tried to sue him. Then he went radio silent for a little while, and then he fucking killed himself. So the story, the lore, was that because of Billy's lawsuit basically financially ruining him, he killed himself. That was the story. And that's what Karl kept pushing with. That's what Karl said too.
So Billy's he was like, basically spending the past, because this Apollo Legend thing happened in when? Like 2020?
He died in 2020. That's when Karl made his statement.
So Karl has been spending the past 5 years saying, this dude caused this other person to commit suicide, and he's been pushing that narrative? Or has he kept that all in the background?
He said that statement like twice, and then buried that statement, because that's the actual defamation statement he was being sued for, but he didn't want the fans to know that. What he would say in every video is that known cheater, known fraud is suing me for what I said about him. He would say it like that. He starts with cheater and then says what I said about him. So everyone thinks this is because he said he cheated at Donkey Kong. And remember, Billy has sued sued Regular Show for the same thing. So it's not like this comes out of nowhere, right? Everyone believes it. And this is where it all gets kind of muddy. So, where do we... back to Apollo. Apollo kills himself, and that's how this all starts, right? So, why do you think the judge sided with Billy?
If I would think, my gut tells me, Billy Mitchell showed up and just actually did all of his proper paperwork and did everything correctly and was there not to make a mockery of the court with a live stream on Twitter.
So, that's a big part of it, I'm not gonna lie. But there's another thing. What was the lawsuit about?
Well, the lawsuit was Billy as the defendant, right? And Karl as the whatever the fuck. I don't remember. I'm not a court scientist. No, Billy was the one bringing it to court, right? Saying, "Hey, this dude's defaming me." Billy's
the prosecutor saying it was defamation, and Karl's on defense.
Okay, yeah.
So remember, it was about the defamation, saying Apollo Legend killed himself because of Billy. That was what it was about. But he keeps saying it's about cheating. In the court, he keeps saying it's about cheating. This guy's a cheater. He says his defense is, I can't defame him because he has a bad character. Now, there actually is a legal thing that if someone is so heinous that you can say whatever you want about them because they're so, like, evil, right? Now, do you know where that applies to?
I assume that applies to, like, the British king.
That applies to people like John Wayne Gacy, Tad. Now, you might be thinking...
Hot sauce mogul, John Wayne Gacy.
Now, you might be thinking... I don't think cheating at Donkey Kong is the same as, like, kidnapping, raping, murdering, and burying the bodies of children in my basement. But not to Karl. Because to Karl, the fact that he cheated at Donkey Kong, a Nintendo game, Tad, is everything to him. So... to Karl, this is about cheating, right? And honestly, maybe it is to Billy, who knows? But the judge is like, okay, look, and he says this, I don't care that Billy Mitchell cheated at Donkey Kong. In fact, you've convinced me. I bet he did cheat back in 2011. This is about that you defamed him, saying that he caused the death of another human being. Karl, you are in the wrong. Billy totally has this, like, he's correct. You defamed him. You just lied. And you manipulated everybody, like, everyone here. So, do you know why Apollo Legend killed himself, Tad? Because we do know.
Oh.
Now, you might be thinking, how does Karl not know? Well, you see, Apollo Legend wrote a suicide note. He said, the reason I'm killing myself is because my health is declining rapidly. I can barely use my hands anymore, and I can't even really play video games anymore. And that's, like, my favorite thing in the whole world, right? So, like, that's a huge part of it. It was also, in fact, you might notice that website I sent you called Karl-Lost.com. Do you see that YouTuber named Easy Escape in the bottom right?
Wait, Easy Escape? Like RuneScape?
Yes, much like RuneScape, but it's on easy mode. Do you notice the YouTuber down there, Easy Escape Speedruns? He made a video called The Downfall of Apollo Legend back in 2020. October of 2020. Suspiciously close to when he killed himself.
Okay. What
Easy
what did he
escape.
expose in that video?
Basically, he was ragging on Apollo Legend for getting caught up in Billy Mitchell drama and getting taken to court. Now, remember, this guy is like 20 years old and a speeder, a little autistic. So he basically had an entire drama video dropped on him about his failures as a YouTuber, and that is a big part of why he killed himself. And he says in his suicide note, Dark Viper AU, who's another like drama tuber, and Easy Escape are a big reason of why I'm doing this. Karl Jobst is close friends with Dark Viper AU and Easy Escape.
Oh, shit.
So you're probably piecing where this is getting kind of crazy, right?
I'm seeing it now. Oh, shit. Okay.
So the reason... Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about like my own little theory here is the reason why Karl is so adamant about this and deflecting and hiding the way that he said what he said is because he's effectively trying to defend his friends by putting the blame on Billy Mitchell, right? If he can convict Billy in court, then he can effectively remove the guilt from his two friends, right? But it didn't work out that way. The internet has pretty much turned on Karl almost immediately. It's really funny. Now, you have to understand something, that Karl was really trusted on the community. You remember the completionist drama?
He had his fingers, and his company had their fingers in a bunch of charity things, but the money was never actually being spent on anything, making people theorize they were pocketing it.
Yes, exactly. Now, he never pocketed the money, but he was never donating the money. He was sitting on it for I think it was about 7 or 8 years. Now, the completionist Gerard did actually commit fraud, and that is not even like a fake statement or like hearsay. Like, he actually didn't commit charity fraud. Fun fact: it's actually not that unusual for charities to hold on to their money for a while until they donate it. That is actually a lot more normal than I thought. But he actually did commit fraud with his sponsorship with a golf company. So I mean, technically speaking, he did commit fraud, just not charity fraud. So technically, it's not defamation to say that. But Gerard basically lost everything. He lost his career, his YouTube channel tanked, he lost his partnership with IGN, his fucking girlfriend left him. Like, he lost everything, dude. All right? But this is why we liked Karl, because Karl was like, here's all the facts, here's all the evidence, here's everything. He worked with Mutahar, who's Some Ordinary Gamers. And he's just like, yeah, this is just it, here's what happened. And we all loved him for it. But now, it's like, wait a second. He's the honest guy, and he was lying to us. Every video he said was about the cheating. What the fuck? He never mentioned Dark Viper AU at all. This is bullshit. And Karl's been kind of just running defense this whole the past past month, because he just lost a month ago, right? Like, this just kind of like just happened. So, why am I making this video? Why am I talking about this? Because I was a big fan of Karl Jobst, and I'm going to give you the ground floor on this, right? A lot of people are like saying, he didn't mislead you, he was very open, he did mislead you, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's, babbling back and forth. I'm going to say this straight up. I fucking thought it was about the Donkey Kong cheating too, because I watched all of his fucking videos. In every single video, he would say, known cheater, Billy Mitchell, is suing me once again for defamation. Now, what do you think the lawsuit is about when you say it like that, Tad?
Yep. Listen, I spent all day sitting around with 8 little liars. I recognize a fib when I see one. So, okay. How much money did he get donated? He had $500,000, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He about half, because I think Patreon takes a little cut out of it, obviously. But he had a lot of money donated. But
what did he have to pay?
All fucked up. Well, I'm glad you asked. So in Australian court, if you lose, you have to pay everything. So he actually owes a lot more money than the $450,000 that like Billy was initially suing for, because he has to pay for basically both lawyers and the court's time. And the judge was pissed off at him and charged him a little extra, right?
Yeah.
However, time for another character to enter into the field here. Tad, I'm going to sucker punch you. Well, I'm going to sucker punch you with this information. What if I told you Notch was involved with this?
Oh, shit.
What does Notch have to do with anything, you're probably wondering? Well, you see, Notch is a gamer and a billionaire because of Minecraft. He's like, don't worry, Karl, I got your back. And he has been, up until recently, bankrolling Karl's lawsuit.
Damn,
They might be saying, hold on a minute, back up. I'm getting bankrolled by a billionaire. Why am I asking my fans for $500,000 again?
Hmm.
Again, like kind of weird, isn't it, huh? So this is really convoluted. People feel lied to because they're like, hold on a minute, they're not just paying for everything. Why am I fucking paying you, right? Like, why did a 13-year-old kid donate his whole allowance, or why did one really big gamer fan donate $13,000 to Karl Jobst's lawsuit, right? When he was already getting bankrolled by fucking Notch.
What I'm wondering now, so a lot of these YouTubers that are even moderately big, like 15, 10K and up, they start to have these like companies come out of the woodwork. Like I get bullshit scam emails constantly from these people with like, we want to partner with you to sell the Xiaoquan like umbrellas or whatever bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Or they're like, join our marketing agency and we'll pay you so you can keep being a full-time YouTuber. I wonder if he was involved with Easy Escape and Dark Viper and all that, because he's like, listen, he can only charge me so much money before I just do bankruptcy. So how about just fucking these morons are paying my legal fees. I ain't got to pay shit if I lose. I bet that was part of his. I bet that was part of his ideas, that he's like, I got nothing to lose because this ain't my money anyway. Who gives a fuck?
That is a part of it. That is part of his huge attitude. But another thing that really is interesting about Karl is okay, so another reason that the internet and myself turned on him is not only because we feel like we were lied and manipulated to, but like this has actually kind of exposed a lot about Karl that we like didn't really think too much about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Karl is kind of a fucking arrogant asshole. Maybe that judge was onto something. Now, you look at that website, you can see all of Karl's famous quotes, or if you watch the video I sent you, do you want to put that live on stream for us?
Yeah, what he's talking about here, I'll have this in the description here, but this is Karl-Lost.com, which is also hosted at RickySauce.com, the hot sauce of Billy Mitchell, based as fuck.
Yep.
Use the promo code KarlLost for 10% off your first order. I see some real bangers here. Let's hear Karl Jobst talking about how I keep pronouncing his last name different each time. Let's say I have 4 terabytes of porn. What is the fastest way to transfer it to a new hard drive? I see him saying here, fuck lawyers. They don't tell me what to do. That's a good one.
Okay, so here is what's interesting. We fed all the court transcripts in AI, and it said that there is no scenario where I lose, lol.
Oh, that's a real cool quote there, Karl. Hey, you've barely scratched the surface. I'm curious about his son. Yeah, I will do a video on the son after they lose. What the fuck does his son have to do with any of this?
Because Karl Jobst is what I was going to call him a predator, but that is a bad term. Hold on, let me get a better term for that.
Well, you say predator, and you've sent me this YouTube video called Karl Jobst teaches you how to approach women in 5 minutes, 29 seconds, 80% world record.
Now, let me explain something. We're gonna get to Karl's past in a hot fucking second. So, Karl is a predator, but not that kind. What he wants to do is he will find a target and he will hunt them down, and he will not stop until his fucking prey is diddled and or dead. He doesn't want to beat Billy. He wants to destroy Billy. Now, if you watch the Karl Jobst quotes that aged like milk, the one that really stood out to me is, Billy, when I win this, I'm not gonna be a good winner, Billy. It's really, really hard to feel bad for Karl when he says shit like that, you know? Like, he wants to go after not just Billy, but his family. He wants to take everything from him when he wins this lawsuit, right? And this is part of what those quotes, the website you're looking at here, this is all part of what's like, oh, Karl's a fucking asshole. Hold on a fucking minute. Maybe Billy's not so bad. So let me talk a little bit about Billy here, right? The gamer of the millennium. I love the King of Kong, or as we like to call him now, the King of Karl. Billy is a fucking asshole.
It's really funny, actually.
Thank you. Billy the King of Karl is a fucking asshole, but like in a fucking endearing way almost. Like, he wins his lawsuit, just types in Twitter, Billy Mitchell always has a plan. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Billy Mitchell makes me think about if you took one of those characters from like the Western only NES games, like Bimmy and Jimmy, right? Where like a screen pops up, it's completely green. It just says Billy Mitchell always has a plan, and then it loads you into the shittiest beat 'em up you've ever played.
Yeah, here's the thing. In the 80s, Billy Mitchell did, in fact, achieve the very first perfect Pac-Man score. That's true. That's objectively true. He did do that. Perfect Pac-Man is when you get all the pellets and get all the ghosts with every orb, right?
Yeah.
First guy to do that. So, he also was one of the first guys at the kill screen in Donkey Kong, and he did, for a while, have the highest score. He doesn't have the highest score anymore, because it's been, fucking 30 years. But he was a very, very good arcade player back in, the 80s and stuff. But, he got older, got into business, and he's not as good as he was anymore. Now, in 2011, allegedly, he did cheat that one time to effectively redo his high score. Here's the thing about that, though. While that is probably true, I mean, the judge thinks it was true, right? It's not defamation to say that. Even the judge, would think so with the evidence provided.
The gamer judge.
Billy redid that high score live in front of people on a real arcade machine, and he reached his high score again and hit the kill screen in Donkey Kong, which is when you play for 3 hours, the game, basically overflows and crashes, right?
Yeah.
Karl didn't say he did that part. I'm just saying he made up for the cheating part. He was able to do what he cheated in before, so as far as I'm concerned, he took care of that, right? As far as I'm concerned, it's not that big of a fucking deal anymore. Karl wouldn't let you know that part, though. The other thing about Billy is that Billy has a lot of fucking charisma. I fucking love Billy, dude. Have you seen any of his fucking content at all?
I have not. I didn't even know that he... See, I kind of knew that he had a hot sauce company, and I just kind of assumed that he got tired of video games and went on to do that, which seems like that's mostly the thing, except for when some Australian fucking schizo will not leave you and your family alone about it. Or cartoon animals. If cartoon animals are stepping up, then you got to put them in their place.
Well, he shows up at conventions and does speeches and shit, and because he's in Florida, right? He's like, "Hey, I'm the King of Kong. Here's this." He talks about video game history and shit, right? He does tours and shit.
He's gonna come out to standing applause at the next Midwest gaming convention.
I mean, I haven't seen anything like that, but apparently people are really into that. But anyway, the reason why he does this is because his image of being this great video game player in the 80s is part of his image and what he markets himself as. That's part of why getting, say that you murdered a man is very bad for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Billy's content, if you've ever seen it, after he won his lawsuit, he made a video where he just said, "Karl, just put the fries in the bag. And when they're doing that, ask for a side of Ricky's." so Billy's fucking funny. I actually kind of really like Billy, and I want to talk a little bit more about him right now because I was watching these other YouTubers cover this to get more information about all of this while this is going on because there's still more to talk about. But there's another YouTuber named LUS, which is Law Understood Simply. He is a lawyer YouTuber who specializes mostly in patent law, but every lawyer every lawyer specializes in something, they still have basic knowledge of all law regardless, 'cause it's part of their job, right? Unlike Nick Rekieta, who was a non-practicing lawyer, this guy actually does his fucking job. So, LUS was also covering Karl Jobst this whole time. And this is how we know that Karl Jobst recently filed for bankruptcy. Now, something interesting about that. Karl Jobst, from what I've watched in his video, I'm not going to make any direct statements, because Billy Mitchell taught me the danger of doing that.
I only listen to Billy now. The hot sauce kid.
I only listen to the King of Kong, okay? He's the game of the millennium. But
never doubted him for a second.
Never doubted him for a second. But Karl is doing something a little odd from what he was talking about on his Discord. Yeah, a little crazy, all right? Now, I know it's really hard to trust a guy. It's hard to doubt a guy who, back in 2014, made pickup artist videos about him trying to flirt with women randomly in the street, saying, "Hi there, you look really cute. Okay, bye," and then just leave.
Fuck, I'm gonna watch this video later. I need to see his amazing techniques.
Because I know it's hard to trust a man who has such great charisma as Karl Jobst. But on his Discord, he was talking about how it's okay, I'm not really scared of bankruptcy court right now, because what I'm doing is I'm having my wife buy a lot of my assets off me and transfer my assets to her. Ted, what does that sound like to you?
Oh, he just posted that right on Discord, huh?
No, look. I would never accuse Karl Jobst of bankruptcy fraud, but I'm just saying, as he says, a lot of people do this, and this is totally not a big deal. I think he should maybe shut the fuck up, put it on Discord right now.
Well, you know what?
Maybe
Fuck
it's a bad
lawyers.
idea.
A lawyer will just tell you to say nothing, bro. You know, who wants to live by that principle? Karl Jobst quote.
Tad, fuck lawyers, okay? I'll say what I want to. Quote a man who is in debt forever to Billy Mitchell. So, I feel bad, not for Karl, because Karl is, like, he's an asshole. He lied to his fans.
He did this entirely to himself.
Yes, but also, like, another thing is, like, okay, he has had every opportunity to back out of this. And this is what really frustrates me about the whole story. Because, like, again, I was on Karl's side, watching all these videos, and it's just like, yeah, okay, he's a cheater, blah, blah, blah. And you actually see my live reaction in our Discord, when it's like Karl lost, I'm like, what? How the fuck did he lose? He was so obviously a cheater. And then someone else said, oh, this is about Apollo. I'm like, what? I look at the thing myself, I'm like, oh, no, this is, like, so easily just Billy was completely correct here, right? But, like, it's he had every opportunity to back out.
Like, it's another awesome. Okay. Listen, Billy Mitchell's got the fucking red, white, and blue tie. He's got the suit. He's just putting another Australian in his rightful place. America number one,
yeah, fucking
baby.
Honestly. But, like, okay, Billy just said, stop saying this about me. All Karl had to do was just say, oh yeah, sorry. Make a video and say, I'm sorry for saying you killed Apollo Legend. It would be over. That's it. All I had to do. He can still call him a cheater, by the way. He can keep doing that. He just said, take back what you said about Apollo. All he had to do. But he never did. And that's what makes it so frustrating. It's like, I'm not going to say that. Billy's like, I'm going to take you to court if you don't back off, buddy. He gave an opportunity. He's like, no. He's like, okay, well then we can settle this out of court. And Karl's like, no. Because Karl quote, my favorite quote is, no, because I need to take you to court because the world needs Billy to lose. Because to Karl, this is the most important thing in the world. It's like putting this fucking serial litigant in this fucking place, I fucking guess, right?
How so, he cheated at Donkey Kong.
Yeah, back in 2011, which was still, that's 14 fucking years ago. But I guess this happened in 2020, so it would have been 9 years prior. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, who fucking cares? But, like, he was given a chance to back up. But let me talk about the Notch lawyer, because I almost forgot about this. I'm glad I wrote this down. Notch gave him a lawyer. Notch gave him his personal lawyer, right? $1 billion lawyer, okay? He comes in and he's like, Karl, you need to take back what you said. This is clear defamation. And then Karl fired that guy, took the money that Notch still had for him, and the donation money, and got his own lawyer that told Karl what he wanted to hear. And that's what makes this even fucking worse. Because you know, from that lawyer's perspective, this is the easiest fucking mark in the world.
Do we know who his new lawyer is? Because I guarantee you, it's like some fucking Saul Goodman-ass slimy dude that as soon as you give him all the papers, he's like, this is not going to work, but I could fleece this fucker.
Yeah, I couldn't find his name when I looked it up, but to be fair, if I was him, I'd also kind of turn on. Because, like, the judge right now, the judge is getting constantly spammed on his, like, Facebook from random teenagers saying, how could you let Billy win? You're a monster. This guy's, like, 70. He's like, dude, I don't what? I don't fucking care.
Have you seen...
a geriatric old man.
Back during COVID, there was a shitload of Zoom courts, and people were recording them, putting them up there. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. So what Karl is making me think of here, speaking of Zoom court, so I've been watching like a lot of these, because I'm in the Midwest, so my algorithm pushes me to watch like what people in the Illinois are watching, right? So it's a lot of like Thin Blue Line, like that kind of bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. And so I watch the body cam videos every now and then. They're pretty funny. And
yeah.
There was a couple of them I saw where they were like, you know, police interview of someone who's like a diagnosed narcissist, and they will see footage of them stealing from Target, and they will say, no, that's not me. And then they'll say, we know that's you because you stop and talk to your children. And she goes, well, no, okay, I did that, but I didn't steal. And then like they will, like, their brain just like will not fill in that gap there to be like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Like, their brain won't make that connection, or they'll just refuse, just total refusal to ever accept it. Mm-hmm. Kind of like another YouTuber I used to watch years ago, who I'm pretty sure is probably dead now in a house fire, but he was like, it was Cooking with Hoarders, and he was cooking, and like he would have to go get water from the sink and shit. And that guy's a lawyer. That guy was a functional lawyer. He just had this mental block. I don't know. Holy shit, he might have been not just lawyer. Anyway.
Yeah, so like to bring this all full circle is the reason why so many people are all about this is that it's not just about the fact that he lied. It's not just about the fact that he took all of our fucking money. I mean, okay, I personally didn't donate to him, and I'm fucking happy I didn't. But like, I was rooting for him, right? Like, I feel a little lied to and betrayed too, right? The reason that it really goes down to is that Karl, I think you're learning the hard way that throughout your whole attitude, throughout everything that you've done and everything you're going to do, the internet doesn't like losers. The internet likes winners. Winners like Billy Mitchell, baby, gamer of the millennium.
Never challenge the King of Kong.
Yeah, so like I want to talk about this with you because I found this whole little like scenario. Now he hasn't gone to bankruptcy court yet, but from what we have from his Discord, again, this is all public information, right? I'm not defaming him. This is things that he said. From what we know, it's gonna be a fucking blast. And now, whenever that comes up for the next Noise Boys, I'll mention like, oh yeah, he probably got fucked in bankruptcy court too. I'll bring that up because the story's still not over yet. But like the main drama of the loss is what really drove people, and it's called into question like just a lot about him, right? Like what the completionist didn't do is what he said, right? Because we now know that Karl will obfuscate details and lie by omission, right? What if he's lying about the completionist now? I don't know. I can't trust him anymore.
Yeah,
it's sad. It's sad to see a YouTuber that you really like turn out this way. He didn't fucking diddle a kid, thank God. He just spurged too close to the sun. He threw his entire life away when he had like 15 different opportunities to back out. He just threw it away because he was just so, I don't want to use the word narcissistic because it's
tunnel
overused.
visioned in on He was like feeding in on the positive attention of this, be like, look, everyone's paying attention to me. Look at all these people paying attention to me.
I'm the hero. I'm the good YouTuber. I like Billy sues people all the time, and they either don't go to court, they settle out of court, right? He has only ever was taken. I gotta try. I want to point this fucking out, right? Now, because I suing somebody is still not a good thing, and while I do think Billy's really funny, I do criticize your methods a little bit, Billy. I will be honest. All right, I'm not cool with that part, but. Yeah.
Like, the people buying Ricky's sauce, they don't really give a fuck if you're good at Donkey Kong, and it doesn't make your hot sauce taste that much better, bro.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna glaze it a little bit. It's actually pretty decent. I had it. It's pretty good.
Where'd you get it from?
I just ordered it online.
From Ricky's himself?
Ricky's yeah. By the way, type in Karl lost for 10% off your first order. But it's frustrating, and I want to talk about this because like I really want you guys to all understand. Like, first off, Tad, I want to say something to you. You know what, Tad? I'll put my hand on your shoulder. You're right. I'm so happy we never covered topical drama on our fucking channel because it's very easy to just get sucked into the vortex of drama. I mean,
what are the birds in the background of your microphone?
Oh, that's Jake-a-roo with his new dog toy. Do you hear my beloved Jake-a-roo?
I thought that was birds fighting.
Guest star of the podcast, my beloved dog Jake-a-roo, who recently got groomed and he's very fluffy right now. But unprofessional podcast aside, my point is that I don't want to be a drama YouTuber, so I'm going to cover this just this one time because I was involved, because I was a fan, right? That's the only reason I'm breaking that rule today. But like, I wanted to bring this up because this is a cautionary tale.
Hold on a second. Do you hear that in the wind? But it sounds like a bunch of bleeps and bloops coming in over the wire. This is an update. Billy Mitchell has responded. Drama, or what's the Keemstar thing? What does he say?
Drama alert! Ring the fucking
drama alert!
bell.
My name's Keemstar. I cover up my lack of a chin with a giant beard. Let's get into the drama. So we recorded this episode a bit ago, so we're a little bit late on it. But the Billy Mitchell video basically confirms everything that we kind of our stances we kind of agreed upon at the end there, right?
Mm-hmm.
We watched the video. I'll have it in the description. It really puts it all up there. In the first 23 seconds, Billy Mitchell's already calling out a promo code for Ricky Sauce called promo code Karl Loss. Ricky is also getting Billy's also getting a second movie about him called Arcades and Love Songs. And before he's even addressed a single allegation, he calls Karl a 5'7" manlet. I think we can close the case on this. It's done. It's over. Never in my life have I seen a man so cooked.
Don't forget, though, he's also creating a new limited edition hot sauce called Absolute Legend, which if you don't know because you don't watch Karl Jobst, that's what he calls his fans. He says, hello, you absolute legends.
That's hilarious.
Dude, listen. I said it in the video, but I gotta reiterate. Listen, chat, I fucking love Billy Mitchell. I think he's fucking hysterical. He's fucking funny, dude.
Aleks, buy the hot sauce, review it on the next Noise Boys.
I will. It's just a shit from fucking Florida, so it's fucking expensive as shit. But I will unironically use the promo code Karl I was gonna say Lops. Karl Laws.
It's domestic. Shipping isn't gonna be that much. It ain't coming from Indonesia.
He doesn't know.
I don't know. What I do know is let's go ahead and end this episode because we're going to record a Noise Boys right after this. And we've got some interesting things to talk about. Let's put it that way. Thanks for watching. Karl lost. Billy won. The Internet Loves Winners. Podcast in the description. YouTube, iTunes, Google Podcast. Except it's not a Google Podcast. It hasn't been on Google Podcast for 5 years. I think my brain has turned to mush. Goodbye, everyone.